Hey everybody, it's Alex Dorr, speaker and trainer at Reality-Based Leadership. Today I want to share with you our SBAR tool, which is one of our best mental processes to help people ditch the drama when they come to you with an issue or something that they're struggling with. Now, the background behind the SBAR is that so often we hear leaders struggling with a team member that always comes up and says, "Hey, do you got a minute?" And as a leader, you're very caring and you say, "Yes, absolutely." You might even check and you got like 2 minutes. And then what tends to happen is that person actually doesn't need a minute. They need like 30 to 45 minutes. And typically when they give you the information that's on their mind, it's very unprocessed. They kind of dump it on you. And then your value as a leader is taking that information and you sort through and you kind of feed it back to them and say, "Go do this." And it's this very inefficient process that actually causes a lot of work for you, and that person keeps coming back to you to solve the issue. And so what we want you to do there is to notice that you're over managing, and it feels good in the moment to help out that way, but it becomes an unsustainable process where everybody comes to you for even the simplest of challenges. And so what I want you to start having your teams think about is what we call the SBAR, which is when someone comes up to you and they say, "Hey, do you got a minute?" You say, "Yes, absolutely I do, but first, do you have an SBAR?" And what the SBAR is again, a good mental process which gets us out of emotional waste or drama. And so I want to walk through how quick and simple this can be. And so what we recommend is the person, once they understand the model that's going to come to you and tell you the situation, they write this down, whether in an email or on a piece of paper before they come to you, and then they bring it to you when they're like, "Hey, do you got a minute?" And so here's how it works. It starts with the S of SBAR here. The situation. Now the key with this is it has to be one sentence. Now as you guys might know, it's hard to get into a lot of drama when you got to keep it short to one sentence. Here's the situation, the reality, one sentence. Now, once we have the situation, what's the background? Now something we like to remind people of is we want the relevant background. We often joke that we don't work for the History Channel. We don't really care what happened in 1979 or 2 court cases ago with this person. We just want to know what's the relevant background. Like, why is this tied into our strategic plan, to something we're trying to improve around here? What's the relevant background? And then the third part of this is called analysis. Now, oftentimes people bring stuff to you and they haven't really thought anything through. They haven't done some of their own research. And so this step is very important. What have you analyzed about the situation? Have you looked into the research? Have you read a journal article? Is there a TED Talk you've looked at? Is there best practice you've referred to? What do the experts say to do in this situation? Who in your network have you reached out to that has the same job as you? What's the evidence say? If you're in healthcare, we want to be always going back to the evidence. And then lastly, what are your recommendations? We like that S in there, plural. Because what does the ego like to recommend? You guys know this, the one way you gotta do it. Here's how I would do it. And that's really choosing your preference oftentimes over the potential of the business. And so we want people to give 2 or 3 recommendations of how we could move forward. It shows our mental flexibility. It shows that we are all in and open to solve this any way we can, and I have the skill set to do so. And then lastly, once the person has presented this to you, it's really processed information. It's really thought through in a clean mental process. It's straight to the point. It takes 30 minutes down to a 2-minute interaction. And then, as a leader, you just say, "Sounds like recommendation 2 would be a good start. Can I count on you to go do that?" And the person is off on their way. Now, you guys might be feeling what the power of this is, because that doesn't take very long. That happens really fast. And what starts to happen is whenever someone says, "Hey, do you got a minute?" If this is your anchor to say, "Hey, do you got an SBAR?" then they start to realize this is the criteria to be able to talk to you about a situation, because we want you coming in with a clean mental process to the point where it won't even have to be written down anymore. They won't even realize they're doing it. They're coming to you and be like, "Hey, do you got a minute? Here's the situation. Here's the background. Here's what I looked at for analysis. And here's what I recommend. What do you want us to do?" It'll become a sustainable mental process. And that is what is sustainable about reality-based leadership. And that's the importance of these tools. It's very powerful. The second thing So many people we work with as leaders, they're looking for ways in which they can empower their teams. And their teams are saying, I feel like I have no say in decisions. I don't feel empowered around here. Well, what is a great way to step into the power you already have? It's to come in with a clean mental process that gives 2 or 3 recommendations to move forward without getting the justification and sign off of your leader all the time for you to move forward. And so that is where this part comes in. It gives the employee that form of empowerment. And so the SBAR is such a fascinating mental process that can really raise the value of those interactions and get us moving forward quicker and conserve all the energy that'd be lost to drama and them just spilling it on you and you sorting through. And so get out there, use the SBAR. It's a clean mental process. You guys got this. And again, you'll forget at times, but just know that there's mulligans. There's always another chance to say, hey, do you got an SBAR? And I promise it'll help you ditch some of the drama. And so any questions about this tool or the content, feel free to reach out at Alex M. Dorr on all of the social media accounts. I'm happy to help in any way I can. And you guys know the deal. Let's keep ditching the drama.